Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and I'm a designer and illustrator living in Canada. Today I was knitting. Here's this work in progress. It's gonna be like a granny cardigan eventually. But I wanted to switch gears and paint with you guys for a little bit, answer some questions that I collected from my community tab and from Instagram. So I hope you enjoy it. This is going to be a super chill, super casual video, minimal editing. I'm probably not even going to put music. Sorry if you guys like the music. But I think going more minimal just feels right to me right now. Yeah, and I think I'll paint a dragon because that's what I feel like. I could do something more involved. I could paint something from life. I have plenty of plants that could use painting. I'm staring at my cat. Hi, Mina. But I'm gonna paint a dragon, so I hope you like more dragons. Okay, so I am using my Pentalic Aqua Journal sketchbook, and I am using my Dima palette from Julia Callan Art Studio, which she sent to me. So nice, and these colors are gorgeous. So we'll paint a little dragon over here and I'll answer some questions. So one of the first questions I've got here is, what is my favorite dinosaur? My favorite dinosaur is Parasaurolophus walkeri, which, I don't know, it's sort of an arbitrary choice, I guess. I work in a dinosaur museum, as some of you may know. I'm the graphic designer there. Well, the junior graphic designer, and then there's another 2D graphic designer. But yeah, it's hard not to have like a bajillion favorite dinosaurs. But the one that just really has been my favorite since I was a kid is Parasaurolophus. And some people say it Parasaurolophus. But yeah, here we generally say Parasaurolophus. That's just how we stress the syllables. Next question, Amber Witt Art asks, what's my favorite bird? And my favorite bird is absolutely the Eurasian magpie, Pica pica, or Pica pica hudsonia, depending if you agree with that subspecies. They live here. They're so smart. They're so pretty. There's nothing that like cheers me up faster than seeing like a magpie in the snow, or a magpie in a tree, or a magpie doing magpie stuff. I think they're so wonderful. And the runner-up is probably white and red-breasted nuthatches, because they beep. If you've never heard nuthatches, look them up on the internet. They beep. It's cute. My friend Nita asks, do you ever get tired of creating such beauty? And the answer is yeah, I do. I do get tired of it. I do get stressed out by it. I do have like existential art crises, like any other artist. And when I was in art school, I remember one of our professors brought in some work, and he had done it and he wasn't like thrilled with it, whereas the rest of us were all blown away. So basically the moral of the story is, do you ever become super happy with your art? And the answer is no. You're always going to have these problems, because you will always and forever be your worst critic. And I don't know, I find that comforting in sort of like a melancholy way, I guess. It's not exactly schadenfreude, because it's like my own future reflected back at me. But yeah, I do get tired of it. I do get upset. I do have hard times. I know it was a joke question, but There's a serious answer for you. All right. I have also got questions. When are you going to visit your mom? Mom, I'm going to visit you around Christmas probably, and not before then, unless you want to take me to a fabric store. Um, Maggot Queen 666 asks, do you draw every day? If so, how much? And what's the longest you've gone without making something? Okay, so I do not draw every day, which might seem strange. But I don't. I don't draw every day, and I haven't drawn every day since I graduated art school, basically. So I should probably clarify. Let me paint this arm, and I'll I'll explain what that means. So I do not draw every day. And there's a difference as well between drawing for drawing's sake, like to draw in your sketchbook, and drawing to get somewhere else. So like, for example, drawing to get a point across at work, drawing to mock up a layout that I have to, put together in InDesign or something. Even drawing to get to the painting stage of a portrait or something, like often to me that doesn't feel like drawing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it doesn't feel like drawing because it's not exploring drawing as a medium. It's just a tool to get to the next step of something else. So a lot of the time that's the sort of drawing I do lately. I'd like to draw more, like for drawing's sake, and I've been trying to give myself like dedicated drawing sketchbook time to go with my dedicated painting sketchbook time, because to me as well, they're very different skills. Painting, of course, you're working with shape and color, and with line you're working, with just two values usually, and yeah, I don't know, they're just very different to me. And no, I do not draw every day. In terms of drawing for the sake of drawing, like not just as like a stepping stone for another process, I probably only draw about 1 to 2 hours a week these days, which sounds strange now that I think about it, but the point is that I'm usually painting or designing. So just different methods in my process. What's the longest I've gone without creating something? And I don't know, I feel like the longest I generally go is only about 2 days. Like sometimes if I'm really drained, I'll spend a weekend not doing anything, or just playing video games or like baking. But even then, like creating something, usually if I'm not drawing or painting or working, I've been knitting. And so that's still creating something, right? And even baking, I find, is still creating something. So I think the longest I spend is like weekends where I have to do a lot of baking and cooking. I'm not creating something artistic, but I'm still making things. Like I can't just veg out. Like even playing video games, I just got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, in case anyone's wondering. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second here. But even video games, I can only play for like maybe 3 hours max, and then I'm like, and I go off and I do something else, like knit or paint or cook. All right, next question from Instagram here. How did you get your start in the industry out of school? That's a good question. I actually started freelancing while I was in art school. I started freelancing for local clients, and for private clients, and for magazines. The magazines was a really big like aha moment for me. I was like, oh damn, I like this job. So I was already freelancing when I was in art school before I graduated. And then Once I graduated, I branched out a little bit and started focusing on my YouTube channel and my product design. So my shop and getting the pins made and things like that. And so right now I work in a museum, and to get that job, basically, like, I was already sending mailers to the museum. I was already interacting with them on social media. I was already going to their opening, exhibit openings and stuff like that, and, saying hi and getting to know the current staff there. So by the time that an opening happened, when I submitted my resume, they already had artwork from me. They had already approached me for a contract job, which in the end went to my partner instead, so that was awesome. So by the time I applied for the job, they already knew me. They already knew I was a dinosaur freak. Uh, and that's it basically. Until I got that job, and I was just waiting around seeing if there would be an opening, and I didn't even see it. My mom sent the opening to me. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, in between then I was freelancing, and so my approach to freelancing was a little bit old school, just a little bit. I mean, I had a website, I had my Instagram, I had a Behance as well, which I think still exists out there somewhere, but it's it's outdated, but it did get me jobs. I would send postcards to art directors. I would find their names in the fronts or backs of magazines, and I would send postcards to their offices. So that's what I did for a little while. I didn't get a ton of work out of that, but I got enough work to keep me going, and I got some recurring clients out of that I still work for to this day. So I guess that's my tip, is figure out what it is you want to do and send them physical copies of your stuff that aren't going to get lost in an email inbox. You can email people. Absolutely do email people. Not all art directors have their offices or addresses public, so you will have to email them. But I've always liked, and because I design for like tangible objects, product design and worksheets and posters and stuff like that, like print objects. I find sending print objects also shows that you know how to format those files and make things print properly, Like, that's a big part of getting into this industry, is just knowing the boring technical stuff, in addition to, being able to draw dinosaurs or dragons or flowers or whatever it is you're doing. I get a lot of jobs doing sort of more like boring things. I get a lot of jobs doing trees and grass and like bugs and like tiny things that don't show up well in photographs. So that's a niche that has given me work. I don't know what else to say about that. I really love this yellow color, by the way. It's like the only color I'm using on this. Oops. It's just so nice. It's so nice. I'll use some red. But yeah, that's how I got started in the industry. I basically, had a portfolio up the whole time and waited to see if anybody would give me work. And yeah, I still freelance, even though I am a YouTuber and a full-time graphic designer. Because I like the freelance jobs. Like, I just think they're fun. And I love seeing my work in print in magazines. And I love, like, like people who have subscriptions will be like, oh, I saw your thing. Like, like my mom has a subscription, and my grandma does, and my friends' moms, and they'll find my art, and it's just really nice. And Yeah, I really love print media and print jobs. When I went to art school, this is sort of unrelated, but when I went to art school, like I wanted to be a concept artist. I wanted to do Yeah, I wanted to do concept art for video games and creature design and stuff like that. And I'd still love to do that, but my thing is I didn't like executing things in the digital painting style. I thought I liked it, but then when I discovered traditional media like more purposefully, I was like, "Oh damn. This is way cooler to me." And that isn't to say that concept art isn't cool, it's just I was never getting the results that I wanted, and I was not enjoying the practice involved in getting there. So that's sort of how I felt about music as well. When I was in high school, I was a flute player and I did like honor bands and everything like that. But I didn't enjoy practicing. Like I was good enough without practicing to get into these bands and whatever, but then I knew that I would hate to do my degree in that. I knew it just wouldn't jive with me. So I didn't. I went to art school instead. I have a friend though who did go and do his degree in music. He started in flute and then switched to cello, and now he lives in Italy and speaks Italian. So, Tyler, if you're listening, hello. I miss you. Hopefully Italy's cool. I don't even know if he would watch these videos. I like that face. He's funny. Okay, I should find the YouTube questions. Okay, Maria P asks, what's my favorite cotton watercolor papers? She's looking for a paper that doesn't stain too much and doesn't allow for softening wash edges. Oh, she doesn't want to end up buying more cotton paper that stains right away and doesn't allow for softening. Okay. Hot press is particularly guilty of this, she says. And yeah, that's correct. All right, what cotton paper do I like? I actually quite like this brand, Baohong. Oh, sorry, I show it here. Yeah, so I really like this one. You can order it online. It's 100% cotton, acid-free, and it's got this really nice texture. So I like this brand. I got that on Amazon. There's probably other places to buy it if you're not supporting Amazon, which I totally get. Yeah, so I like this stuff, the Baohong. I also like Fluid, the Fluid 100 series. That's all 100% cotton. Don't buy the hot press. I bought the hot press by accident. But yeah, I like the cold press. And then what else do I like? Oh, I tried some St. Cuthbert's Mill the other day that I really liked. Yeah. I used to swear by Arches, but that's only because that was what they carried at my art school bookstore. So Arches is fine too. I do like Arches. I like the Arches watercolor blocks with the green cover. So those are my recommendations. Next question here. What's the best advice you received in an art journey that made you improve your skills? Do you have art blocks sometimes, and how do you deal with them? Okay, so first question, best advice I received in my art journey. Okay, so here's an anecdote. I drew a tree once, and I showed it to one of my professors, Carl Geist, who's an incredible illustrator. And he said, "Did you look at a picture of a tree when you drew this?" And I said, "No." And he said, Yeah, I can tell. It looks fake. um, so that's sort of a roundabout way of saying that the best advice I received was to use reference and to respect the reference and to know when to use reference. So use reference. It makes your art better. The second question, do I have art blocks sometimes and how do I deal with them? Honestly, not to be like, I don't know how this is going to come across. I don't get art block anymore. If I do, I don't care. Sometimes you make bad art. And one thing I've learned with having art as my full-time job is that it doesn't matter if you have an art block, you still have to hit your deadline. And do I hit art blocks in my personal work? Absolutely. I hardly make personal finished pieces anymore. I just don't want to. And I try not to get depressed that I don't feel like doing that. Art has become my job, and I'm not like upset that I've lost any sort of like magic or like anything like that. So I'm not the person to ask about art blocks because I'm not very sentimental about it anymore. Sure, I get bouts of like being sad and being angry about my work, but I wouldn't call that an art block as much as a mood swing. When I do get an art block and I'm frustrated, like usually I just switch to doing something else for a little while. Like I do some writing or some knitting or some baking and it'll pass, you know. It's with anything cerebral, I guess, in that oftentimes you just have to wait for it to pass. And as someone with diagnosed depression, as well as hypothyroidism, so if anybody has a thyroid that doesn't work, let me know in the comments below because it sucks. Yeah, I've learned to sort of let go of those sort of negative emotions and not necessarily be able to get over them quickly, but to know that I just have to wait them out. And sometimes it takes days, sometimes it only takes hours, sometimes it really sucks, but yeah, anything like that, I sort of just wait and divert my attention somewhere else. Like if I'm doing a bad drawing and I'm having a really bad drawing day, I'm not going to sit there and keep trying to draw because then I'll just be mad. I'll go do something else. So I don't know if that is the answer you were looking for, but that's my opinion sort of surrounding art block. Technoraptor777 says, what pets do you have? I have one cat. She is a calico. Her name is Mina. We rescued her about 2 months ago from a shelter. She's 2. I have Cicero. He is a Eurymastix garai, a lizard, native to Nigeria. And he's really cool. He might be female, but we use male pronouns for him. He's a lizard. He doesn't care. How old is he? We don't know. We really don't know. And I have a little singular bronze Corydoras catfish. All of his friends died. I don't think fish are for me, but he seems to be doing well and the tank is stable, so yeah. But this is the last fish, and then we're going to take down the tank, I think, and replace it with perhaps a record player. So, sorry to you fish lovers out there. It's just too esoteric for me. Fish are too opaque. I don't know. I did take good care of them, I promise. But yeah, fish just sometimes die. And I have a friend who has a PhD in fish behavior, and she's like, yeah, sometimes they just die. And you just can't predict it. So anyway, those are the pets that I have, as well as many, many spiders that live in my old house. And the last question is, how is cat life going for me? And the answer is it's going good. Mina really likes to sit on my laptop at certain hours of the day when I'm trying to work, and that's sort of the most frustrating part. But I've ordered her a bed that she can use on my desk, so hopefully that'll help with that issue. But yeah, no, it's going good. She's so cute. I'm so pleased to have a cat. And somebody somebody mentioned on Instagram that it was really funny that I was talking in a YouTube video. It must have been the kitten video that I was like, "Oh, cats aren't for us. You know, probably won't get a cat, but I like cats." After that, I sort of my partner and I had some more conversations about adopting a cat, and then we saw Mina's ad in the shelter, and it just it just aligned perfectly, and we agreed that we'd like to adopt her. He was worried essentially about his allergies, but we've basically had no issues with her. She's a short hair cat, and yeah, so it's been good. It's been really good. But yeah, like as to like why did our opinion change from cats aren't for us to cat? Things just aligned properly, and I sort of talked Finn through his reservations, and he talked through mine, and we talked to friends who had cats, and all of our friends were like, get the cat, get the cat. So we got the cat. And it was an adjustment period, but cat life is going very good. And yeah, we've been doing target training with her, which is helping with some of her other habits that we're not fans of, like jumping on the stove. I mean, we keep our stove really clean all the time. But yeah, we don't want her to jump up there one time when it's still warm or something. So using the target training, we can then get her to come down off the stove by doing the target. So that's good. And yeah, right now she's sleeping. She's very cute. And she's very interesting. It's very fascinating to live with another different mammal. Anyway, that's all the questions that I got. Thank you so much to those of you who sent them in. I think this little dragon sketch is done. I'll show you here. I've got my camera in a different place, so let me know if you like this angle or if it's too weird. Like I said, this is a casual video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next upload. Bye!